Hello, welcome to the Lighthouse Buddies. This is episode number 1. My name is Tempe, and I'm Tempe on Ravelry or Tempe V on Instagram.
And I'm Chrystal. I'm Chrystal Mo on Ravelry and Chrystal Mo 1 on Instagram.
Chrystal and I have been friends for 5 years, ever since we met at a knit night in St. Louis. Chrystal moved to the Longmont, Colorado area 2 years ago, but we've kept up our knitting friendship through Skyping and visits. And we wanted to just share with you our love of knitting and crafting.
What have you been up to this week?
This week is our second week of school, and we have also had the joy of a heat advisory. So we've been trying to start up all the school activities and Weeble of Scouts for my sons, all with the heat advisory. We did go out to the country to visit my father-in-law yesterday, and we tried fishing, but the fish weren't very much interested with this much heat.
They don't usually bite when it's hot, do they?
No, not too much. We found a nice, cool cave, and one of my sons found a bat that was sleeping. We thought it was dead because as much noise as my children were making, it didn't move.
Did it wake up and fly around?
No, it did not at all, but my husband saw it breathing later, so.
That's pretty cool.
It is. It is. I like bats. They eat mosquitoes.
Bats
And what have you been up to?
Cute. Nothing really. Just trying to finish up some spinning projects. It's been really cool this morning. I had a dream that it was snowing because I had my window open and my ceiling fan on, and it was so cold. It was 55 degrees this morning when I woke up. And then I called Mom, and she was saying that it was already like 90 back home. I don't miss that.
It was 103 at 7 p.m. with the heat index.
Wow. I think it might have made it up to 80 today. I know yesterday it only made it up to 75.
It's okay. Winter is coming.
Winter is coming. And it snows early here.
It does. You were so lucky. October and April are the snow months.
Yes, they are.
Well, have you finished any projects recently?
I have my mittens, which thanks to you were finished. I started them in 2011, and one of them was too small because it was my first cable mittens, and I stopped at the pattern repeat instead of going for the length because I didn't have a clue what I was doing. And the second one I went further, and then the first one had a wee little thumb that would fit a midget. But you were so awesome when you came out here and you unpicked it. I finally picked it up and finished them. And both thumbs are the same length, and both mittens are the same length, and they fit a full-size adult now.
Those are beautiful.
Thank you. And they're super warm and squishy soft.
And what yarn did you use on those?
That is the Alpaca with a Twist Baby.
Oh my goodness, those are luxury mittens.
And when I bought the skein several years ago, they came in 500-yard hanks. So I still have like 300 yards left. They are yummy. And today, just today, I finally finished my linen scarf.
No way!
Oh,
I love that.
Color's not really showing. I bought the yarn in Las Vegas when I was out there for a meeting. And I really love the yarn. It's a 50-50 mohair silk, and it was so pretty in the skein, but when I started knitting it, it looked like clown barf, and it was just horrid. And after the third attempt, I was wanting to throw it away, but I couldn't justify throwing away the yarn. And you suggested the linen pattern, and it worked out perfect. And it is so pretty, even the back side.
And what was the yardage on that?
It was only 260 yards. And I have a full-size scarf out of it.
I'm surprised at that. I'm not a big scarf knitter, But I would not have thought that you would get a full-size scarf out of
Well, I shouldn't say quite full
that
size.
amount of work.
It's unblocked. It's my arm span. So that's
But it
pretty
has
close. It has silk and it has not been blocked. So
it may well grow in the blocking once you get the silk wet.
and it's warm and incredibly soft.
Now, will you be blocking that yourself? I tend to do most of the blocking for Chrystal because she has pets and I do not. So I have nothing to walk across my blocking, and I just don't mind blocking.
And I hate blocking, and it will sit in a basket for months and months and months.
I will be watching for it in the mail.
Thank you. Do you have any FOs?
No. No, I do not. But I have been working on some larger projects lately.
Yes.
So let me set this aside. My traveling leaf shawl.
Did you notice?
What a beautiful, you know what? I have some
We have the
beautiful
best
outfit
friends.
that my good friend Chrystal got me.
We have the best friends with the best tasted mugs.
I go to Stitches almost every year. Stitches Midwest up in Chicago, Schaumburg, Illinois. And I've missed a few years and done other things. But what I love best about going to Stitches is just walking around the booths and seeing all the different samples. And I have found so many projects that I would not have run across on Ravelry that way. This one is the traveling leaf shawl. And I know it looks like a blanket, but this is a nice big square shawl. This one, let me check my notes. It was at the JoJo Land booth, and I bought this in August of 2008. So this,
Oh, wow.
This is old in my stash. I think that might have been my first Stitches.
Wow. It's gorgeous. And it's going to make a great, almost like Civil War type shawl.
I finally finished the knitting on this after all these years because I cast it on back in 2008.
Did you? And your gauge hasn't changed that much in all those years? Or not enough to matter?
I think sometime around 2009, 2010, I had a big boo-boo and I was not as good at dropping down and fixing my problems then, and I ripped it out and restarted. But it's still been a work in progress since 2008. I need 4 rounds of crochet for the border edge, and I will be done with this. This is out of the JoJo Land Melody. I've been knitting this on a size 6. I don't know what size crochet hook I will end up using.
Does it have a recommendation?
I don't recall, I haven't checked, but the thing I love about this is it was on the wall in this color, and I'm sorry, I'm one of those unimaginative people, and I buy the color that I see the sample in because I just fall in love.
But you know, that color looks so good on you.
This is my fall tone, and I saw it on the wall, and it made me think of, like, dragons. The sample on the wall they had there had a lot more of this orange showing up in the orange. This is the MS-18, so it's got red, blue, and green. The Melody Superwash, this is so squishy. It's so nice. And there are only 6 projects on Ravelry for this.
Wow. That's interesting.
So I absolutely would not have found this, and I'm going to love this.
In all these years, and there's only 6 projects.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
We saw JoJo Land, and the lady, and I don't know her name, the lady who runs JoJo Land, or at least runs the booth, we saw her there the first 2 years we went to Stitches, and we have not seen her since then. But Stitches is always evolving, and booths come in and booths go out, and that keeps it fresh.
I've never been. It's on my to-do list.
You would love it. But Chrystal and I are going to Rhinebeck this year, and we are so excited about this. And you will hear us mention that a lot.
Squee! A lot.
Okay, so I have this project, which is huge, huge and squishy.
Great job.
And then I have the Sia that I purchased at Stitches again, and I found it. There are only 62 of these projects on Ravelry. So again, this is not something that I would have been likely to run across browsing Ravelry. And I purchased it at Stitches 2011, I believe.
So a few years ago.
And
That's
it's
such
made.
a pretty color.
And this was the sample color.
But you know, the color looks great on you again.
It does, and I did like it. It'll work well for me. This is Lillette Kidlin Lace Weight, where it's one strand. Let me show you. One strand of linen. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm new to the iPad. One strand of linen and one strand of mohair.
Oh, wow.
And it's discontinued now. I'm not sure why. It knits up beautifully.
It is pretty. Didn't you do a lace panel already too?
I did do a lace panel. This is the first sleeve. I have 9 inches here. I need 2.5 more. Yes, 2.5 more, and then I start my shoulder shaping, and 1 more sleeve, and I get to seam it all together. So this will be done soon.
Wow, I'm so impressed.
And I'm knitting this on size 5s in the Knit Picks Harmony. This pattern takes 5 skeins of the Kidlin that you could easily sub out another lace weight, and it is so light, it's so warm.
That looks so pretty.
And all the project pictures on Ravelry, it looks wonderful on everyone. I love it. And lastly, for what I'm working on this week, I'm working on a sock for my brother. He asked for some more socks. I made him 1 pair several years ago for Christmas. He picked out some Lorna's laces in the Franklin's Panopticon colorway. So I've got a basic 3-1 rib. The colors at the stitch, I'm using 80 stitches around on 1.5, which are my go-to sock needle size, and they're not swirling very much, and I did warn him that that is what happens. The nature of hand-painted yarn is it has its own personality. But I think he's gonna like it.
It's manly colors.
It is.
Well, I'm not going to talk about what size needles I use because, you know, I'm loose. And I usually go up at least 1, sometimes up, down. I go down. 1, sometimes 2 needle sizes. So we won't talk about my needle size because it doesn't match anybody else.
What do you tend to use on your sock feet?
00. And sometimes even that's loose.
Wow.
So my whip, since I finished the linen scarf, my whip right now is the herringbone scarf. Cowl. It's a cowl.
I love the fall colors in that.
It is very fall. It's not really showing the colors as well. But they're very fall. So it's the herringbone cowl by Pearl Soho. This is Malabrigo Twist in the liquid amber colorway. And I'm using 3 skeins. They're like 150 yards a skein. This is what I have left. It's very fall colors. It's rust and orange and green.
And that is not your usual color choice.
It is. These are your colors, not mine. But it's turning out. It's not as long as I had hoped because I went with the stitch count that it recommended. But we'll see. It might block out longer. I was hoping to wrap it twice, but I don't know if it'll be long enough for that. But that's my whip. Because I'm so close, I want to get this done.
That is going to be so cushy. Cushy and warm. So that's all you'll be working on?
Well, later in the week I hope to start working on my Rhinebeck sweater. So we'll transition to spinning. I am almost done with my last skein of my gradient. See if I can do this without spilling
Yep,
it.
very smoothly. Oh, I like the way you lay those out.
They keep sliding and I'm waiting for them to just go on the floor.
Runaway yarn.
So it's a gradient. It was the Hello Yarn Spunky Eclectic Southern Cross Fiber Challenge last year. And I have 2 braids of each, and it was a 3-ply of Southern Cross Fiber, 2 Southern Cross Fiber, 1 Hello Yarn, 2 Hello Yarn, 1 Southern Cross, 3 Hello Yarn, 2 Hello Yarn, 1 Spunky, 2 Spunky, 1 Hello Yarn, and I'm on my last skein, which will be 7 skeins total, which is 3 plies of Spunky Eclectic.
Oh, wow. You only have 1 bobbin left?
I do. And that will be 21 ounces.
And this is your first sweater spin, isn't it?
It is my first sweater spin.
That is so impressive. Now, didn't you start this with Tour de Fleece?
I did, and I had, I think, 4 skeins through Tour de Fleece. Because I was out of town, I traveled for work, and I was gone for a whole week, and the week before I was really busy. So, kind of a fail for Tour de Fleece, but I got 4 skeins done.
This is such a success.
And I have, actually, the 3rd bobbin is halfway done. So I should have this, I should be able to ply tomorrow night. And then maybe start knitting this week.
So you'll have the start of a sweater to show next week. And if I'm a good little knitter or crocheter, I'll have a finished traveling leaf after 6 years.
But it's huge.
Huge and lovely, and I don't need a shawl right now.
Wow.
It's a little warm.
It's so much cooler here. There's no humidity. I don't miss the heat and humidity. I miss you. I don't miss the heat and humidity.
I miss you. Well, I have no spinning done. I do enjoy spinning, but I have been feeling some stash guilt lately, and I have been trying to work on some of my older projects, and I'm certainly picking the old ones.
Gold star.
Thank you. So I will have a lot of marinated yarn coming through.
Good.
That does not mean, however, speaking of, that I've been all good, because I went to Stitches again this summer. Stitches Midwest up in Schaumburg again, and I got some pretties. And I have to say, every year I tend to buy sweater kits, and I had a couple patterns in mind that I wanted to purchase for, because since Chrystal and I are going to Rhinebeck, I wanted to make a Rhinebeck sweater. And my first hope had been to make the Rocky Coast cardigan. Purchased the pattern, looked over the requirements, was planning to get some Miss Babs yarn. 2 skeins of Miss Babs Yowza to make Rocky Coast. So I go to Miss Babs. Every color I liked, everyone else liked. So there was 1 skein of each one.
You have
And
such
I had
great
also,
taste.
you know what? She'll have more of it later. I was loving the Black Watch, which was a teal color, and Franklin, which was this brilliant deep blue. I like blues, I like greens, I like purples, and then I like all the autumn tones. But anyhow, I didn't find that. The other thing I was going to look for was the Pumpkin Ale by Isolde, and she used Miss Babs Heartland Worsted, and they didn't have any of the Heartland Worsted at the show. So that's okay, but I did get some Miss Babs Yowza to make a honey cowl.
That's pretty.
This is shaken, not stirred. And I love these bits of teal in here with the pops of lime.
That's going to be so pretty on you.
This is, and this may, I love all of what I got, but this may be what I do first. But I also got, because you can never have a neck that's too warm, I got another Miss Babs in
That's
Blue
so
Ridge.
Blue
So
Ridge?
this one has, it's a little bit less of a color variation than the shaken not stirred, but it's not a solid. And I know if you look at the project pages on Ravelry, a lot of people have made it with a solid, and it looks beautiful and classy. And yet these were the two that spoke to me.
I
So
think they're gorgeous, and both of those will look so good on you.
I'm very much looking forward to it. I went around from booth to booth just squishing yarn. Vendors were looking at me strangely, and I'm like, I just squish.
No, I think everybody squishes. How can you not?
I don't know. Now, I'm not that familiar with Three Irish Girls, and I've never purchased any of their stuff, but I was walking past, and this jumped out at me from the corner of their booth.
That is so you.
I love it.
Pretty.
It's the mini skeins, the McNamara mini skein grouping in the cashmerino fingering. I don't have
Enough. Not nearly enough.
hardly any. I have one skein of Bugget that I was gifted. Chrystal, on the other hand, has issues with cashmere.
Maybe just a little bit.
So this was not the norm for me, but these colors jumped out at me. And I got a skein of driftwood from Three Irish Girls. This is in the Adorn sock that's 80/20 merino nylon, and this is going to be an unplanned lefty.
That neutral color really lets the jewel tones pop.
I love it. And I have to tell you, any one of these colors I would be happy to purchase in a sweater quantity. They did not have them at the booth, but I can tell you now, one of these at least will be in my future, probably starting with the McNamara colorway itself.
I like that.
It's a down-the-road purchase. But I'm not done.
But wait, there's more.
There's more. We went by the Fiber Story booth, and they had a sample cowl knit up. Not in this colorway, but this is the one that spoke to me.
So you didn't get the sample color?
No,
Look
for once
at
I
you
did not get the
stepping
sample
outside
color.
your box.
It was reds and blacks, and I have it sort of ingrained in me that I don't wear red. So this one is called Dwelling in their fave sock. It's 100% merino.
Pretty.
And it came with a free pattern from Fiber Story, which I believe it's called the Sweetie Cowl, and it's not on Ravelry, but it's a Jaywalker style cowl with buttons.
Wow.
So I'm going to love this one. And last,
So did you cake it, or did you purchase it caked?
I caked it because I had to cake something.
Good job. So you're ready to go.
Yes, and last was the Lisa Souza booth. We went back there several times. And she had, in the Sedona colorway and in a gray colorway, this beautiful frabjous scarf pattern knit up in baby alpaca silk. This is,
Yum.
I went with, again, you're right, not the sample colorway. I'm so proud of myself. This is violet. This is baby alpaca silk. It is 730 yards.
Wow.
Soft, drapey lusciousness.
Anytime you can get a skein of silk is that DK weight, did you say?
This is DK weight.
That large of yardage in one skein is always a win.
This is going, and I'm not a scarf person, but I could not find any cardigan kits. No sweater kits were speaking to me. I didn't see very many this year, but as I said, stitches changes every year. And so this year it's all about keeping my neck warm, and I'm feeling very cowlish.
That's gorgeous.
Lots of cowls, lots of scarves. I'm going to be happy.
Well, you are awesome and shopped for me as well. And the Lisa Souza booth, the Mother of Pearl Merino Bamboo Silk. I've been looking at this online for a couple of years, and I was afraid to get it online, not knowing, because when you order stuff online, you don't really know if the colors are going to match your monitor. Mm-hmm. And I really liked that this is so subtle. It's barely a hint of pink, and
that one was mostly pink. It was meant to be for you to have it because I walked up to her booth. There was one Mother of Pearl in the exact fiber blend that you requested.
I love this. I absolutely love it. And you also scored deep sea jellyfish for me. I love this colorway. I absolutely love this colorway. In fact, I was in a store in the spring, and they had gone to TNA or one of the big fiber shows where they're not allowed to sell yarn. And they had received a skein of Miss Babs. It was a fingering weight. I don't remember which fingering weight. I think it was Northumbria. And it was the deep sea jellyfish. And it happened to be on the shelf, and they can't sell it because they got it at the show. And one of the customers asked about it. I said, "Oh, that looks like Miss Babs." She goes, "Yeah, it is. We got it at the booth." And I'm like, "Oh, is it deep sea jellyfish?" Because I may have a slight obsession with this colorway. And it was. And she was just floored that I would recognize that colorway bit. So thank you very much for getting me my very own Yowza.
And what are your plans for your Yowza?
Honey cow. Because I want to match
you. Along.
Matchy match. Yes, we should do a knit along. That's a great idea. That's excellent.
After I finished up a few more of my projects.
I think a knit along for the honey cow is perfect.
Okay.
And then I have some of your stuff. Spoiler alert, we have...
Help each other out.
Huh?
So nice to help each other out with this.
So spoiler alert for Hello Yarn and Southern Cross Fiber Club. If you don't want to see July's, look away. This is your Hello Yarn headbanger.
Oh, wow.
In BFL. Has your fall colors with pops of blue. And it's BFL, which... That's
gorgeous.
Sorry. Alright, that would be the dog barking. Alright, sorry about that. And then we have the July Club from Southern Cross Fiber in Radiant. And this is Shetland. And again, these are your fall colors.
They're similar, the two clubs.
They really are this time, which is very odd.
I'm okay with that. I love those russets with the blue.
These are totally your colorway.
It is. It's got the best of both worlds. It's got my blues and greens, and it has my autumn tones.
And so this is Shetland, which everybody seems to be absolutely gaga over Shetland. And I don't dislike it, but I'm not...
It's not cashmere?
No, it's not cashmere. Isn't
I
that
have
amazing?
to say, I do like the fiber that you can feel it. You know, it has body to it. Cashmere is, it's almost wispy, like it's going to go away.
It's airy and fluffy and soft and... Yeah, I do have a slight weakness.
Well, we complement each other well then.
And then I have my Be Myself Summer Club colorway, which is By the Seashore. And it is merino silk. Totally my colors.
Oh.
With all the pinks and a little bit of gray in there.
When you roll it up like that, one side has all the pinks and mauves, and the other side, I was surprised when you turned it around.
Yes. It has a lot of personality. It reminds me of the sweater quantity that I have of Be Myself, that I have been too afraid to spin because I don't feel like I'm worthy.
And isn't your sweater quantity in passion flower?
It is, very good.
Now, what fiber did you say this is?
This is merino silk.
Is she 80-20, 75-25?
80-20.
Okay. Well, that'll be lovely to spin.
It will. I can't wait. And then more shopping for you. A couple weeks ago, Your Daily Fiber in Fort Collins had a spin-in, And they had a bunch of different wheels, so you could try the different wheels, and a bunch of fibers. And they had a fiber sampler, and I pre-ordered a fiber sampler for both of us. It was such a good deal. It was only $15. And there were six fibers. And it's 1 ounce of 2 of them and 2 ounces of everything else. This is the llama bamboo. And it's really pretty.
Oh,
It's
I
not
like
as
that.
soft. It's not as soft, but it's really, it's gorgeous spun up. And 50/50 yak silk.
I love that cool brown.
It's so soft. And 50/50 camel silk. This would be tussa silk.
You could almost jump rope with that braid.
Right? It's huge. Merino bamboo silk, which I love to spin.
I have not spun that yet.
Enjoy. It's just such a dream to spin. And this is pure bamboo, 100% bamboo. So it was $15 for all 6 braids. I thought that was a fabulous deal.
That absolutely is, and I have not spun any of those competitions.
You've spun 100% tussa, right?
That's the only one, and I've only done samplings of that.
So this will be fun. This will be a great, that's what the day was about. It was trying new wheels, trying new fibers. So,
Did you try any of the other wheels there?
no, they had Kromskis, which they're fine. But since I have a matchless and a Lindrum, and I really love those, they had the matchless, the Ladybug, the Kromskis, and one other wheel. Oh, they had a Lindrum and a matchless. But I love my wheels, and none of those really spoke to me. But I did love the opportunity to see them.
Mm-hmm.
And if they did speak to me, have the opportunity to play with them. That's something that we didn't have in St. Louis.
True, we have yarn stores, but not much in the way of spinning opportunities. I am interested in an e-spinner, but I've seen where some people just don't get comfortable without the treadling.
Really?
So it's not something that I would want to purchase sight unseen, which is one of the things that I'm very excited about Rhinebeck for, since the e-spinner guy, and there goes my brain, doesn't come to Stitches Midwest. Hanson, yes, Hanson e-spinners. He doesn't come to Stitches Midwest, so I'm looking forward to finding his stuff. I'm looking forward to trying to get, apparently there's quite the crowd, to get a Jenny the Potter mug. Hopefully with squirrels, cute little squirrels. And Briar Rose fibers. I've seen
Is it the sock kit that I want?
No, you want the sock kit for Willow Wear from the Sarina of Socks.
Yes, I really want that.
As do I. That pattern is amazing. But I am not in her sock club, and I do not have them.
I want that. I do have some project bags of yours too.
Oh, how nice.
Your Fat Squirrel Speaks sock bag.
I like the crazy eyes on the birds. Nice.
I like this. It's actually bigger than I thought it would be, and I think it's big enough for 2 balls.
Which is good. You had sent me a picture, and I was worried that I wasn't even going to be able to get one skein of sock yarn in there, but it looks perfect.
Yeah, well, for scale, I think you can get 2 in here. It's It's great. And the Aran sweater bag.
With my browns.
Yes. It's kind of a gray brown, but it's still brown to me. And I have the fabulous, not bag, with the woodland creatures. And that's Andrea on, she's Sock-and-Tan, I don't know how to say her Ravelry name. But I'll put it in the show notes. But she's a local person that makes these, and I like them. So I went to Longmont Yarn Shop yesterday to see if I could get one for you.
Yours looks wider than mine.
It is.
Okay, so yours is larger?
So that's the sock, and this is the larger size.
Oh, so she makes them in different sizes.
She does. And so I went to see if what she had in stock yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And I happened to get this bag, and it's the larger one. I got home thinking that the one I had at home was the sock, but it's the larger one.
Oh, that one does look large. Now, is that reversible? Is that supposed to be inside or outside?
This is reversible, so whichever you like to call, the inside or the outside. Are you ready?
I'm a little nervous.
Chickens!
With eggs.
Are there
little
eggs?
polka-dotted eggs.
Yeah, there are. There are cute little spotted eggs.
Oh, that is so cute.
And this is the larger bag. So this should be the same size roughly. Let's see. You know, it looks a little bigger than the woodland creatures.
Yeah, it does.
It's maybe, you know, I bet it's an inch on either side, and it's probably an inch taller. So I would call what you have the small, the woodland a medium, and the chickens a large.
Okay.
So one of these is yours, whichever you pick.
I'm a terrible decision maker.
And you don't have to pick now. Or I might just blindly close my eyes and stuff one in a bag.
Do that.
Okay.
I will be happy with whatever.
They're both cute.
Chrystal has just recently gotten me onto the joys of project bags.
I can't believe, I thought you had more.
No, I've got a lot of Ziplocs sitting around with projects in them.
Ziplocs work.
They do indeed. Well, I don't think we have anything else for our very first episode.
I think that's great. Yay, we did it!
Well, thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you continue to come and join us and share your love of crafting with us, because the more crafters there are, the happier everyone will be.
And we would love your feedback. Any
Really.
ideas would be welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.